I'm an IT expert and positive intelligence specialist. It's good to be able to say what you do in life. And the show is called It's All Good. Look who's here for a chat because I have guests. I've been having guests for over 2 years. Now I think we're reaching the end of the first quarter of my second year, finishing the second year. So, and it's called It's All Good because it's my favorite cup. I know it's backward, but it's all good. And why life is all good? Why am I saying that? Because it is. We have the choice every morning when we wake up to say that life is good or life is bad. You can change your personality, you can change your environment mentally every day, because what's in front of you is what you decide to perceive. So if you change your perception of what you see in front of you, it can be beautiful every day. I know, trust me, I've done it. So and the things that have happened yesterday that made you miserable, and your old story about your parents or in a relationship of abuse, who knows what, you broke your leg or you fell down on your face and your life changed for the worse, it's behind you. You can choose today to have a beautiful life and to move forward and to choose to be happy today and for the rest of your life. So let's work on that together. So if you would like to talk with me about that, you can reach me here at tiny.cc/talk with Denise. You can book a call with me so we can talk about these things of how I can support you. And if also you want to be on this show, same thing, book a call with me and then we can meet up and talk about that. Or also you can join my YouTube channel where all the previous episodes are there. And I have a lot of short lives also that has little bits of tips of the day you can listen to. And they're short, there's just 1 minute. And you can gain a lot of insight from that. So today my guest is Perry Knoppert, and he's the Dr. Octopus. So let's welcome him, and then he can tell us what the Dr. Octopus. And I don't think he is a veterinarian. So
No, I'm not.
welcome to me. It's such a pleasure to meet you again. Like we've had a conversation a few months back, and I said you got to be on my show because he's an extraordinary, wonderful human being. So tell me about Dr. Octopus. Who's Dr. Octopus?
That's a whole story, and
Yeah.
it's an all good story. It's a good story, I think. Um, it started with the fact that I've always been weird, um, different
Yeah.
from
Well.
others, and weird is a positive thing. So a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
in the octopus movement are proud to be weird,
Mm-hmm.
um, but still, a bit weird, a bit different, and it started all with a very nasty experience where I gave away everything, lost everything, and became homeless. And still, everything is fine, right?
Yeah.
It was a hard reset in life. And you said just earlier on, we can talk about everything. Well, there's so much to share. It's spiritual, political,
Mm-hmm.
it's human, it's brain, it's science, it's everything.
Yeah.
And where Dr. Octopus is coming from is after I lost everything, I wanted to set up a nonprofit. I was thinking, well, if you lose everything and you start all over again, what do you do? And I
Mm-hmm.
used to be an entrepreneur. It used to be about the money, shareholders' value, and investments, these kind of things. And I thought, no, 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 I don't want to go there anymore. It
Yeah.
needs to be a nonprofit. I want to do something good in the world. I
Mm-hmm.
want to create something beautiful, and I don't want to create a company that I sell in 5 years and make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
I've been there. No,
Yeah.
I want to create something beautiful. And I was interviewing, like you, people that call themselves multi-potentialites, people that
Mm-hmm.
have multiple passions, doing multiple things at the same time, rather than being, for example, an accountant and looking at the same Excel sheets for the last 30 years. I don't mean it that bold and
It's not
blunt,
bad, you know.
like I just said it. I know I'm Dutch, Dutch people can be very direct, but I call that, that's the linear way of how
Yeah.
things can
Yeah.
go. And I will explain later that I'm a huge fan of linear thinking, but my
Mm-hmm.
brain is very nonlinear. And then by interviewing all these multi-potentialites, people that can learn fast, make fast connections, do multiple things, how fascinating are you? And I could relate to that. I was always doing multiple things, different things, and people were always like, I don't understand what you're doing. And it's too much and you
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
focus. And like, oh God, here we go again. So I decided after interviewing around 130 people that I was thinking, all these people are so brilliant, so beautiful, so interesting
Hmm.
that I wanted to do more and more research. And we were saying, they were wired a little bit differently. A big organization here in the Netherlands to ask for an MRI machine, which I didn't get, but I wanted to discover
That would have been
is
fun.
that would have been amazing. But is wiredly different? Is
Hmm.
differently wired? Is that something? Does it exist, or is
Yeah.
this a
Yeah.
matter of speaking? Right? And I thought, well, if I look in history and all the people that made something beautiful in their lives or made a huge difference in the world
Hmm.
are all a bit weird and different. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought very nonlinear in their thinking, different approach. And I thought if I bring all these nonlinear thinkers together, what will happen? So I created a nonprofit, and the goal is to bring 1 billion nonlinear thinkers together,
Mm.
and let's do it. And that's it. That's the idea that I had, and I started it. That's 2.5 years ago. I have now, I think, around 4,500 members in almost 80 countries. It's going very well. And it's called the Octopus Movement. And it's called the Octopus Movement because I asked this group of people that I interviewed before, I said, you're all curious misfits in a way, all curious, amazingly curious, and a little bit different. But what is the symbol of a curious misfit? Because there is the multipotentialite, there's the polymath, there's the jack of all trades, there's the creative generalist, there is the
Yeah.
maybe neurodiversity is in place. There are so many different elements. I wanted just to have a symbol. And then someone in South Africa, Haley, said, have you seen My Octopus Teacher, a documentary about a
Mm.
filmmaker, who gets into a friendship with an
Yeah.
octopus? I saw the documentary and the circle was round, and I said, it's got to be the octopus movement. It's the
Hmm.
octopus. That's the
Hmm.
curious
Hmm.
misfit. That's the octopus has a DNA that is totally weird from all the other animals.
Yeah.
The octopus is such an amazing animal. And I think nonlinear thinkers, people that are a bit different, are also amazing. And we should create some awareness
Yeah.
for that. And that's how it started. And then there is this author, writer in South Africa, who was writing about me on LinkedIn. And he was referring to me as Dr. Octopus. And that's when I started using that name,
Yeah.
Dr. Octopus, because I thought it was so funny. So no worries, it's not my ego who created the name
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah.
Octopus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone
You
else, and I
somebody
said,
else
yes,
corn you with it, and you
yeah,
say, "Hey, okay, I'll take it."
that sounds good,
I'll wear it
right?
on, and I'll
Yeah,
be that person for sure.
yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. And so people that I've never thought of, either linear thinking or non-linear thinking and all that. So how would you, I know we talked a little bit about it, but would you elaborate a little bit more about the unconventional, atypical, ways
What
of
is it,
thinking, right? What is
right?
it? What,
What is it?
like,
It's so difficult to explain. It's I can explain linear thinking, right? That I can explain. Linear thinking is you go to school, you make your homework, you get a good grade, you get your diploma, you go and find a good job, you become partner, whatever. You
you
make
get
a secure,
married, you buy
you
your
get
house.
married, right? You get a good job, you get your spouse, you buy a house, you get 2.5 kids, you get your lease car, you get your big truck in front of your house. That's a linear approach. Very simplified, but
Yeah.
it means you're focused. This is what I want to achieve. I aim for it. I go for it. And this is
Hmm.
what I want to do. Again, I'm not against that.
Yeah,
But
exactly. I agree with you.
again, this is all very healthy,
But not everybody are like that. That's what those people have to understand, right?
right? So when you
There's
look at
people
the,
like you and I.
yes, there are these people that are able to be very
Yeah.
linear.
Yeah.
They train themselves to be linear, but they can't help themselves to jump out of that linear pathway from time to time
Yeah.
or constantly, there is something else going on and we are not talking about it. We're When I look at my kids, they go to school, this is an education is very linear. People, really, education is so linear.
Yeah, of
This
course.
is math. This is your math book. This is how it works,
We follow
right?
this curriculum. Okay.
This
Week
is the
two, we
steps you
turn the
have to
page,
take,
chapter two.
right? Again, nothing wrong with it, but there is nothing else. This
Mm-hmm.
is the way to go. And I spoke with so many very intelligent people that did PhDs later in life in math. But during high school, teachers would be saying to them, forget about math. It's never going to work. You're too stupid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with intelligence or whatever. It's just your brain, is it in that same system as the
Yeah.
educational
You
system
don't learn the
was?
same way. Exactly.
It's not. And I get it. We cannot create all kinds of different ways. It becomes chaos. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying we should change everything. I'm just saying we should talk about it at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
So that's linear thinking. I often say to people, I would wish there would be a new job in the world, which is the nonlinear manager. The nonlinear manager in a company is able to press a button and stop the system. And then there is a client or a partner or someone involved in that situation, maybe at school, maybe at university, maybe at
Yeah.
the government,
Yeah.
and something is completely going wrong. We all know these examples, right?
Yeah.
And then now the response is, yeah, but that's the system. We can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that freaks me out. Like, who decided in nature that we're going to use this
That's this
phrase?
way. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No way, this is the system. And how cool would it be to have nonlinear managers who say, okay, press the button. I stop the system for you right now. Let's separate you from the system. Let's solve whatever needs to be solved. And then when everything is fine, then the system works again. And then we continue.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
beautiful would the world then be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's linear thinking. It should be like that. It could be very judgmental, linear thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
In your mind, this is how an interview should be. So
Mm-hmm.
we cannot all of a sudden have a total different kind of interview. You know, if I undress myself now, it would be very weird. And you can't do that. Unwritten rules are very linear.
Yeah. You
So
can. Yeah. You
I
don't do
can't do
that.
that.
Yeah.
No, are
Exactly.
you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? And I'm not saying I should do that, but that's the nonlinear behavior in
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
linear world. And that's the only thing that I want to talk about is in our thinking, in how we see the world. And that's why your show is so applicable into the octopus movement. Everything is fine, it's okay. You need to give yourself a little bit of space
Yeah.
in your nonlinear thinking to have an interesting life, because
Mm-hmm.
if everything is very narrow, very linear,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for saying, but maybe life will be a little bit
Boring.
boring,
Mm?
anxiety,
Yeah.
stress,
Yeah. Yeah.
fear,
Yeah.
because it needs to be like this. And
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And as soon as you get out of the march, then it's like, oh my goodness, no, you got to come back in line, right? Like it's stressful.
and people my age, I'm 48, we know that life is never ever going as planned. It's
Mm-mm,
always
mm-mm.
a bit
Yep.
different.
Yeah.
So that's linear thinking, and I'm fascinated by people who are nonlinear thinkers. And I made the connection between nonlinear thinking and neurodiversity. So in the beginning, when I was interviewing these people, and I interviewed around 70 or 80, and then I noticed they all have neurodiversity. That's interesting. So myself, I have dyslexia and ADHD, and
Mm-hmm.
I tick some other boxes probably as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was never talking about it. I was never writing because the only thing I could do was make mistakes. This was something that I wasn't
Yeah. Yeah.
addressing
Yeah.
because in that
It's like
linear
I'm
world,
not good at writing, so I don't write, right?
right?
But you have
It's
a lot
not
to
good to
say,
make
though.
mistakes. You
But you have a
cannot make
lot to
any
say.
mistakes. Exactly. So maybe I'm catching up for all the time that I was quiet. Maybe
Good.
that's the case. But that neurodiverse brain is trained to be active in a linear world, but cannot
Mm-hmm.
help itself to be very nonlinear as
Spike
well.
out. Yeah, it's
And
like
I
you have
find
it.
these areas fascinating. So
Yeah.
that's my explanation of nonlinear thinking. It's difficult to really pinpoint this is nonlinear thinking.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you see it, if you get the whole picture, then it becomes
yeah.
easy and you recognize people and like, oh,
And
that's a
for
real,
people to recognize themselves, because some people might think that, oh, I'm not a linear thinker, I'm open, right? Like I'm an open person, like they don't want to, feel that they're in a box, but then something disturbed their schedule, and all of a sudden it's like, that's not the way it should be done. Right? It should be done this way, that should be done, in this direction. And you know or taking the route to go from point A to point B, and you're always driving the same street every day because that's just the fastest way to get there, right? But what if somebody say, "Oh, don't just turn there for today,"
yeah.
and go
But then I
explore?
have to explain something, Denise.
Yeah,
So this is my pen. This
yeah,
is a Uniball
mm-hmm,
Mitsubishi pencil.
yeah,
This is the only pen I write with. How
mm-hmm,
linear is that?
yeah, yeah,
I can only write with this pen. So I
yeah,
have all these notebooks,
yeah,
and they're all Moleskine notebooks. They're all black. It's all the same. And you see all my handwriting, it's
yeah,
all the
yeah.
same pen. I need to have this. So even with my nonlinear brain,
You
I have
still
a lot
have,
of
yeah,
linear things in
of course, we
place.
all do, right?
Yeah.
We all do. And what I found is when I travel with those pen, you can never open the pen when you travel, because then the pressure was going to make it.
Yeah.
So put it in your suitcase in a Ziploc bag, and then you're safe.
Then you're
But I've
fine.
traveled with those in the past, and it's just like the pressure from being in a plane, it makes them explode. Not explode, but they leak. Anyway,
They leak.
yeah, they leak.
Exactly.
Yeah. So for those
There's
that use
one
those,
little element I want to add to the nonlinear thinker, if that's okay.
of course, absolutely. I love what you're saying.
They care about the bigger picture. This is
Mm-hmm.
something they all have in common. It's maybe because of the nonlinearity of how their brain works, but they see beyond their own world. All of
Mm-hmm.
them. They all care about what's happening in the world. They all care about where are we going and what's happening and
Mm-hmm.
why are we doing this, rather than, and maybe that's also very linear to say, I'm going for the money and I need to be successful,
Mm-hmm.
and success in my definition, not my Perry's, but my, as some other thinkers, is when I hit the 8 million on my bank account, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's very linear. Um, and when I look at all these nonlinear thinkers, they all care about the bigger picture. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that. And
Yeah.
that's also why I want to bring them all together, because they care.
Mm-hmm.
They want to change something.
Yeah, and they have developed a certain awareness that makes them see what's in front of them, right? Because too often when we are linear, people that are 100% linear thinker, they walk like that, right? Like the level of awareness to the other things that are not going in that direction is not really supporting them, right? Like, so they ignoring it, they just go in that direction, and they go there. And again, it's fine if you're happy, right? Like, it's all about developing your own
If you're
happiness. And
okay and you're not hurting
exactly,
anyone, that's a
exactly.
difficult one, because you shouldn't be hurting anyone. So you
Yeah,
should be nice
absolutely.
to your kids, and you should not be, dismantle to your employees or
Yeah,
other
yeah,
groups. You should
yeah.
be a positive person to others. And but recently someone asked me, is it, how many nonlinear thinkers do you think there are in the world? And to be very honest, I think everybody is a nonlinear thinker. I
Mm-hmm,
think
mm-hmm. Yeah,
everybody is born as a nonlinear thinker. That's how we are as humans.
yeah, yeah.
And then we are born and we get into a family system, or we
Yeah.
get into an educational
Mm-hmm,
system, or
mm-hmm.
we
Of
get
course.
into a corporate system. And that sometimes really fucks up the brain of certain people.
Of course, because these are learned behaviors, right?
Yeah.
Over the years, we've been surrounded in a bubble, right, where we grow up, and the educator we've had, and everything that happened in our life that mold us to who we are today. And if we were put in another environment, then we would be different. And And yes, because we see that in children, right? Children have really, they don't have any worries. So if they get upset, 5 minutes later, it's gone. They forget about it. And if they become they have resentment about event and situation, that's because they're being taught right away, right? Like right away they have that resentment and that, being upset about things. But in normal, if you just let them play together, and the two kids can have a fight, and all of a sudden 5 minutes later they
It's
go back
fine.
and they keep playing
Yeah.
together, right?
Yeah.
They just need to have that tantrum and then they're good. So we learn different behaviors. But tell me about um, where would I want to go?
The weather.
Yeah, yeah. How's the weather in Netherlands?
The weather in the Netherlands is fantastic.
But when you right now, like, tell me about what you have created. So what is happening in the octopus movement, like with the people that are non-linear thinking? So what's going on in there? What are people doing in
People
that
sign
group?
up, and when you sign up and you become a member of the Octopus movement, it's for free. Um, you sign up, you join us, and there's the question: what do you want to do? You want to swim with the other octopi? I know the correct plural is octopuses, but I like octopi better. So,
Mm-hmm.
as nonlinear as I am, I'm not following the rule of octopuses. I prefer them to be called octopi. Sounds so
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like apple pie. So it's so much better. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we have created a community. Now, I'm not using the word community because I don't like that word. It's
Okay.
someone was asking me in the beginning, Perry, what do you have against the word community?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, and I thought, yeah, what is that? What's my problem? And I'm a visual thinker. And when I see a community, I see a room with a door. And I
Okay.
see people coming into the community or out of the community. And I thought, that's not what I'm creating. I'm creating nothing, right? It's nothing. There is no wall, there is no
Yeah. Yeah.
door, there is
Yeah.
no entrance. It's just there. And I was watching a documentary from Paul Stamets about fungi, and he was talking about the mycelium that's underground, where all these mushrooms and trees are connected, and they're
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
communicating with each
Yeah.
other and supporting each other and sharing nutrients and whatnot. And that I thought that's it. I'm creating a mycelium, a
Yeah.
global mycelium, where all these nonlinear thinkers are connected with each other, and together something is happening, and that's
Mm-hmm.
growing and growing like a mycelium. If you look at mycelium, when it's in your garden, it's white, it looks like a spider web, but then in the ground, and then it's growing and growing, and
Yeah.
something pops up. There's a mushroom all of a sudden, and something happens. And I see that as well with the octopus movement. It is a mycelium. We're working together, we're doing a lot, but the biggest thing is that we've created a global nonlinear brain, which is called the
Mm-hmm.
think tank. And with the think tank, we come together and we brainstorm and we create new ideas to solve global issues.
Mm-hmm.
Have I solved a global issue yet? No. We're working on it. But
Yeah.
now the
Yeah.
interesting thing is that organizations are coming to us asking, can we please read your nonlinear global brain?
Yeah.
So the linear world is asking the nonlinear world, can you think with us?
Yeah.
Because we're
We
living in
need
a
new
fast,
ideas.
we
Yeah.
need different thinking.
Yeah.
The world is changing. There's so much going on. And now think about linearity and then the corporate world, corporate life. It's pretty linear. No, it's very linear. And then think about people. 90% of your thoughts are the same every day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
people are
Of
thinking the
course.
same thoughts
Yeah.
every single
Yeah.
day. So you're
And
in
they're wondering why things don't change for them, right? It's
weird,
like,
right? Very strange. And then there is a creative consultant coming into the office. I'm always laughing about that with post-its. I have post-its as well. I use them as well. But
yeah.
then there is this creative session on Friday afternoon. Let's go somewhere else, out of the office. Otherwise, it's so difficult to be creative. Oh, shoot me. Really? let's not do that. These guys are having the same thoughts every day. They're in a linear structure. This is what it is.
Yeah.
And these guys are amazing and they're doing shit and keep going. But if you want to have different thinking, you need to talk to someone else. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
our global brain, recently we were doing something for the government in the Netherlands. And so someone in Bangladesh is thinking about an issue that a city here has in the Netherlands. How cool is
Yeah.
that? And
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
up with the perfect solution.
Yeah.
And it's making these connections that we're combining that. I
Yeah.
keep saying it's not about nonlinear thinking, but it's also not about linear thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
has been always about linear thinking. And we need to find the yin and the yang balance. We
Yeah.
need to work together so we can create something better. We can deal with the change that's going on and we can solve climate change and we can create a better world for us humans without
Yeah.
going to Mars because
And
that's
when,
not the solution.
yeah, of course. And when we are immersed in nonlinear thinking, meaning like thinking outside the box, that will also eliminate the linear thinking that is, yeah, but it's all about profit. It's all about, how can we make more money? How can we, and not thinking of how that thinking can hurt other people around them, right?
Because we're stuck in the system.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
what we learn at school and at college. It's
Mm-hmm.
the system. Money is a system as well.
Yeah,
I'm not against money, I'm not against the system, but if
yeah,
it's only about the system, someone gets hurt
yeah,
because that's always the natural balance.
yeah,
Sorry. Um, so we need to address that. There's nothing wrong with making a shitload of money,
yeah,
but there needs to be something else on the other side as well,
yeah.
right? And it should not be just the system, and that's
Yeah.
where it's going
Mm-hmm.
wrong. And when I
Mm-hmm.
look at
Mm-hmm.
the world now in the things that are going wrong, recently I saw this very impressive movie and I forgot the title. It was scary, it was horrible, it was about um, slavery and the slavery that's happening now with kids, and
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
especially
yeah,
in the
yeah,
United
yeah.
States.
Yeah, it just
And
came out not that long ago. Yeah.
it just came out, and then you watch that movie and you're thinking, what the hell are we doing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the movie, they show you the numbers, and there is apparently a whole system in slavery right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
with kids.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what the hell are we doing? Because
Yeah.
sometimes people say, what's your purpose? So what are you doing? So and some of these finance dudes like, okay, so how much money did your nonprofit did last year, Perry? Okay, you can ask that, and I give you an answer, and it's all fine. But that's such a systematic question.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
about the system. Can we talk about humans and
Yeah.
how we're doing and what's the
Mm-hmm.
future for my kids,
Yeah.
and
Exactly. And
can
their
we
kids, and
balance that a little bit, and their
and
kids.
respect all lives, right?
Yeah.
Like when that happened, like I have these kids, that are becoming slave and sex slave or whatever else they do. Um, I mean, it's not respecting their lives, right? It's they treat them like animals, right?
It's horrible. I can't even think about it. It's
Yeah, yeah.
what the
Especially
hell.
you having three kids, you
What the
you
hell?
know,
What's
yeah.
wrong with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's
Mm-hmm.
wrong with
How can
people?
they? That's right. You know.
it's it's unbelievable. So, but I see a lot of things that I think that's unbelievable. What are we doing? And
Yeah.
maybe, but that's my theory, maybe, just maybe, because we are nonlinear thinkers and we are all trained to do that systematic thinking, maybe we don't like to do that. And
Yeah.
maybe we get ill. Maybe we get frustrated. Maybe we
Yeah.
get angry. Maybe we want to compensate everything by becoming as rich as possible. So at least we're a bit more free. Maybe that's the case. Maybe this is all to blame on only systematic thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is only what I think at this moment. What do I
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting to to connect the dots in a linear way. Well, if this is the case, is everything, and I'm thinking like that, and I'm thinking again, and thinking again, and then you see a pattern. Wow, this could be the case, right? Because there are a lot of unhappy people,
Yeah, yeah,
and that needs to be compensated for them as well. What do you do when you're not happy? Maybe you
yeah,
get into a fight with someone, or you start using alcohol or drugs, or
yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure, for sure. You need to find an escape. Absolutely.
right?
And it doesn't mean that also, like that being said, like it's not narcissistic to think about nonlinear thinking. Like, I mean, like nonlinear thinking are not perfect people either, but it's just that, like it's
It's the
just,
balance. If
yeah,
if you're
exactly,
if you're a hundred
exactly.
percent non-linear, it's as difficult as 100%
Percent
linear.
linear. Yeah,
It's you need to be human, and human
yeah,
is we need to be more humans, and
yeah,
yeah, a little bit more spiritual and
yeah,
feeling
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
grounding and consciousness and seeing the
So
bigger
tell me,
picture really helps.
yeah, and in order to build that, like I see, like I'm on your mailing list, and I see that every Sunday you have a meditation
Yes.
happening. So tell me a bit about that. Just to we'll end with positive of meditation and
I love meditation. So my brain goes nuts from time to no, my brain goes nuts
all the
nonstop,
time.
all the time. So this brain is firing ideas nonstop, which I have fully in control now because I don't have to compensate anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm a nonlinear thinker. I live in a linear world. It's all fine. I understand my own brain. So I don't have to create new things over and over and over to feel good because I get it now.
Yeah,
But still, if your brain is constantly firing ideas, you want to say to the brain,
turn it off.
that's enough,
Yeah,
turn it off. So I've been practicing for years and years and years. I even lived in China and I did all kinds of meditation courses there. Um, and I've mastered my meditation that I can have a flip, I can flip the switch and I can just shut it down.
yeah,
Also, when we're talking just now, it's gone and it's quiet and it fires up and it's quiet.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
wonderful. A few things. I strongly believe that the science of you is everything. If you understand your own brain,
mm,
you really get what's going on, then everything is possible.
yeah,
When you understand the science of you and you master meditation, you're fully in control. But for me, meditation goes two ways. It's the switch off, but also the switch on. I can also meditate and just be very aware. What do I hear something on the background when
yeah,
I'm listening
yeah,
to
yeah.
you, right? And I hear this and I hear the light that's over there, and that's also a form of meditation. So
Life is a meditation. Yeah, yeah,
I have these two forms. Now, every Sunday, I was thinking we have the global mycelium, we have all these nonlinear thinkers. What happens if we're all meditating at the same time and at some point we're adding a topic to it? So we go into the emptiness in between nonlinear thoughts by meditation. That would be cool because I strongly feel that we're all connected. It's all energy. And
yeah.
if we start using that, we cannot end the war in Ukraine by meditating altogether. No way. It doesn't work that way. But we can have a huge effect on everything by combining everything together. So
Mm-hmm.
every Sunday, I invite people to go into the global mycelium meditation. And it's funny because it's a live event and nothing is happening. So people go to LinkedIn or YouTube and they get the invite and okay, I'm behind my Zoom screen. Let's meditate. And then the screen opens and there's nothing. And in the beginning, quite a few people were sending me messages. Perry,
I think it's
no,
broken. We can't hear you.
nothing is happening. Are you okay? And Perry, I think your system is in failure, which I love that sentence because, that's for me everything. And like, this is meditation. So there is nothing.
There's a
And
silence meditation.
you can learn all the techniques about meditation. In the end, meditation is meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever
Mm-hmm.
technique, whatever origin it's coming from, Buddhist or Zen
Yeah,
or transcendental. It's all the same. It's
Yeah.
just, and then you can focus on your breathing, or you can focus on whatever you want to focus on. But that's up to you, in my perspective. That
Yeah.
otherwise it
Yeah.
becomes too linear. The way to
Yeah.
meditate
Yeah.
is to sit like this, whatever, and then listen to your breathing. And no, that's too
Mm.
linear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe for that person it works that way. Maybe for me it works in another way. So that's why I'm doing the global mycelium meditation every Sunday for half an hour.
And I think
And
what's awesome with
wonderful.
that, what's great with that is when you align like your mycelium, like when everybody, that goes into, or and I remember seeing also, I say, you don't even have to watch the screen or whatever. You can just, that between that time and that time we're doing it. Sit quiet wherever you want. You don't have to have and be in front of a device. But by having all these mind connected together, something's happening,
Yes.
right? Something is happening.
And I can feel that. And that's a wonderful feeling. And within the
Yeah.
mycelium, within the movement, sometimes that happens as well. That I get a message from someone saying, you know what's going on with that other person. I had a dream last night, and all of a sudden this person appears, and I don't even know him. Yeah, I saw his
Yeah.
name or
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
name
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in the octopus movement. Do you know if something is going on? So people are really making these
Reaching
connections.
out. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And it's awesome because there's not a system behind it. That's
Yeah.
for me, my ultimate goal is to have this organic growth and organic movement of beautiful people, and then linked to the linear world in sponsorships, global think tank. And we now have created the Brainforest Alliance, where organizations join and say, we care about different thinking, and we care about
Yeah.
diversity as a whole, not diversity in hiring people, but
Yeah.
diversity in everything. And let's work together to solve some global issues.
Oh, wonderful. So if people are interested, I have the link there in scrolling down, which is the octopusmovement.org. So go check it out. You can opt into different branches of the octopus and you choose the one that aligns with you or all of them. It's all open. It's all on volunteer basis. And
One final thing, if I may. Oh
yeah,
God, the
of
time.
course.
I have too many things to say. There is, there is. When you sign up, you will see there is a Project 398, and
Mm-hmm.
Project 398 is an art book I'm creating, and I'm working on it now for 4 years, and it's almost finished. So if you sign up and you want to be in an art book, and that means you can share a story about you, or how you see the world, or how you see your bicycle, or whatever, with your photo, you will be in my art book, because the purpose is to have an art book of 398 nonlinear thinkers from all over the world.
Okay.
I
So
have
there's
people
still
from,
room.
there's
There's
still
still room.
room. There's still room. There are still a few available spots.
Yeah.
Go for it, because it's not just a book. So it's going to be, Tarshan like art book, the big
Yeah.
ones,
Yeah. Yeah.
800 pages, beautiful. People from Korea and New Zealand and Africa and all over the world. But it's also becoming a website and an art exhibition, and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
kinds of
Yeah.
things are
Yeah.
happening. So you can hold nonlinear thinking, consciousness, humanity in your hand when we're done. So when you sign up for the Octopus Movement, there is this question: do you want to be in Project 398? Go for
Perfect.
it, because these are the final spots. And there's
Perfect.
not going to be a part two, I can tell you that.
It's a lot of work. A lot dry throat.
Oh,
A little spot there. Excuse me. Wonderful. So you're everywhere on social media. So people can reach you on, look for you on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And with a name like yours, I'm sure there's not 100. Or maybe they are. But look for
maybe
Dr.
so.
Octopus,
Yeah,
right?
there are other Dr. Octopuses, but if you go to the octopusmovement.org, on the first page, the homepage, there is me,
Perfect.
and
And
then
how
you
to
can,
reach you. And
how to reach you. And I'm on pickmybrain.world, and that's a
okay.
fantastic platform where you can pick people's brain. So you can pick my brain, and there is a 20-minute Zoom session. Just book me.
Perfect.
You want to talk to
Perfect.
me? Book me. You don't have to say, "Can we talk?" or "What do you think?" Just book me. Go
Go in the
for it.
calendar.
Go
Exactly.
for it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, and we could talk forever. It's been 40 minutes already. So thank you so much for doing what you've done, and to be so weird, and to align other weird people along. And I think it's needed, like the poor little lost weird people, they don't know where to go. So go to the Octopus movement and find your little spot in there, and then you can say, oh, home.
And just lurk,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
be here
Just,
and
yeah.
swim around. You don't have to do anything.
Explore.
Just explore
Exactly.
and see how these other
Yeah.
weird creatures are doing. It's really a lot of
Wonderful.
fun. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you,
thank you
Denise.
so much, Perry. Just stay
Thank you.
there. I'll be right back with you. Well, ladies and gentlemen and others, I hope you enjoyed this show. Perry is a gem of a man. I mean, a person, individual, out of the box person. Who knows? He's someone amazing. So it was a pleasure to have him there. Again, the Octopus Movement website is theoctopusmovement.org. And you can reach him on all the platform, and in the website you have a place to reach him. I have a gift for you. I have a checklist. I'm working with empty nesters that are looking to build an exit strategy from being a full-time parent, and that checklist will give you a few tips on how to do that. So it's bit.ly/starting over checklist. And I again encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel for all the interview that I've done in the past, if you want to re-listen to this interview. So youtube.com/at Denise Belil. And finally, if you want to book a time with me, it's tiny.cc/talk with Denise. So that was me for today with Perry. And join me next week for our next interview, and go on my YouTube channel and watch the one you've missed. There's like over 110 interview in there. So you have your choice. So look at who's saying what and pick one and just watch it. So until next time, be kind to one another.